Hello everybody. In this video guys, I'm going to talk about Binance Coin and in general Binance and stuff that are built on Binance Chain. Now, I'm going to go through Binance Coin, PancakeSwap, bakeryswap, Pancake Bunny, Spartan Protocol, Trust Wallet and Swipe. So in general, I'm going to talk a bit about the main Binance ecosystem stuff plus Venus as well. So there are a lot of things that I want to say. But first of all, I'm going to start with a chart of BNB and then go through what I see coming in the future. Right now, I do think that BNB is still strong, is still relatively healthy. I'm not seeing anything, let's say like this top or this top right here, because we have continuous adoption, both crypto adoption and Binance expanding in general. Because Binance right now, the valuation of BNB is above the market cap of Coinbase, which I think is fairly reasonable, especially because Binance is a much larger company. It has both a US entity and a global entity. BUSD is doing very well. They've got a lot of stuff going for BNB for fees. It has no inflation. It's a global market, like it's listed on several exchanges other than Binance. There are a lot of pairs for BNB. It can be used for Binance Smart Chain and BNB and Binance Chain in general. There is a lot of staking tools, launchpad, and so many other things going for it. So right now, I do believe it's very healthy. It's on a very nice uptrend. I don't want to say much more than that. Again, it just takes a little bit from Ethereum because of all the situation with the fees. Some of those projects might want to get listed on Binance Smart Chain to get then on Binance, which is a very nice trick, at least for some of them, because it is a way for some of those projects to get recognized and essentially Binance push their own agenda. Now Binance is also expanding on NFTs, trading stocks, and why wouldn't some company like Binance expand on stock trading? Now there are issues with all the stuff that I mentioned. The regulatory side is a bit murky because again, Binance Chain is very centralized. A lot of the stuff on Binance Chain are very scammy, and there might be regulatory pressure. There might be regulatory pressure for the no KYC requirements, which might hurt Binance, at least in the short term and even in the long term, because again, some of that money is going to flow into Coinbase. The no KYC rules have helped Binance grow significantly, but eventually this might turn on its head like we saw with BitMEX and other stuff. So just be aware that there are a lot of risks when it comes to Binance on the regulatory side, because again, there's a lot of competition and a lot of people who would like to see Binance go down. And it would definitely be one of the things that might have to happen in a way before the expansion of, let's say, the crypto market into the regulated market, the traditional market space, because the regulators might want to step in first and clear some stuff before, let's say, an ETF comes, which I do believe is going to come this year. So when it comes to the chart, it looks very clean. Those levels are very, very important. If you have a look at this right here, it had a nice full cycle from here. I don't know why that is this way. Let's do a bit more light on this one. So, oops. And, I don't know why it's doing. So I got this one fixed, luckily. I don't know why that happened. It has happened to me a few times before. But anyways, so it reclaimed this very interesting high right here versus Bitcoin, of course, because again, guys, if we just look at the USD chart, there's nothing really interesting to watch. So this high has been fully reclaimed. This high and this high right here got also fully reclaimed. Very nice. Key turning points all got broken very quickly, and we had a very explosive move to the upside. And right now, BNB is about 1/10 of the size of Bitcoin. So I do believe it can grow a lot more, maybe even 2, 3, or 4 times more, because again, I do expect the crypto space to grow much, much more than, Bitcoin. So as the crypto market cap goes up because of alts and all that stuff, then the use cases of Binance, and especially just Binance itself, the trading volume is going to expand more and more. And of course, BNB doesn't have any inflation. It's actually kind of deflationary, although they are burning their own coins, which might be also one of the things that kind of gives them a little bit of a problem regulatorily. But I do expect that one to keep growing. But it's just something that you need to keep in mind when putting a lot of your money into Binance. And Binance Chain, of course, which is even riskier, because just remember, guys, layer 1 protocols are very hard to scale. And if they are scaling, they're sacrificing something else, maybe security, maybe decentralization. So something has to go away for scaling to happen, especially when it happens in a really large scale, and especially when it's just copying, let's say, Ethereum or something else for Binance Smart Chain. So eventually there might be some bottlenecks there as well, because you cannot store all the data on chain. There has to be some issue, or they've done some technological miracle that I'm not aware of. So we just need to be aware that cheap fees might come at a cost for something else. So right now it might be getting adopted, but in the future it might get hurt. It might get hurt very badly. So again, I do see this is a pretty healthy uptrend right now. I do see this kind of breakout right here as pretty interesting. So maybe there is a little pullback all the way down here, like 6%, and then go higher. But currently it looks very nice, very healthy, and I'm not seeing any signs of a blow off top. Now, of course, right here the market did slow down for about a month. Here it also slowed down for a few weeks, but again it's just going higher and higher, and it's about 12x or 11x from the bottom right here. So again, Binance has lots of stuff going for it, listed on tons of exchanges as well. It's one of the best performers this year, at least when it comes to, let's say, large caps. And I do believe that being ranked as number 3 is definitely a well-deserved place for BNB. So let's go into the projects on top of Binance Smart Chain or Binance in general. Cake has been going a little parabolic, guys. It's already hit about 6-7 billion of market cap. There is quite a lot of value locked on it, about 5 billion. You know, it's an automatic market maker and a yield provider. So just be aware that it has a lot of stuff going for it as well. Not as many listings as BNB, of course, and it's not as active as BNB. It is listed on a few smaller exchanges as well. But the main thing that I believe also gave it an extra boost was the listing, the extra pairs for Cake, for BTC, and I think USDT as well. Those 2 pairs got added fairly recently, and they were an extra boost for Cake. Of course, the demand on there definitely matters, but when we see the lower fees on Ethereum, those have hurt the adoption of Binance Chain a little bit, because now that they've gone down substantially after the Berlin hard fork, it has given a breathing room for Ethereum to keep expanding and some people to go back on Ethereum. So if I just look, let's say, at the Cake graph versus BTC, it has gone up a lot. So it's already up even from the day it launched, and I assume the supply has also expanded to provide the yields. It's already up 520% just from this level. So if we just consider from all the way down here, it's already up 60x and more. But overall, it looks like it has a very healthy trend right here. It also has a very healthy trend right here. And you know, all these levels have been retested several times, and it kept going higher and higher. We didn't see it really go parabolic, but this level right here, it starts to remind me a little bit of this or a little bit of this. Now, either we're gonna go into a much stronger parabolic phase, or we will see it slow down a bit. Because if we just look at this versus Bitcoin, it definitely has, if we look at it versus the USD, it definitely hasn't gone up as much as others, or let's say as much as we see right here, because Bitcoin has gone down about 10-15% over the last few weeks from its all-time high. So that might mean that there is a little bit more room for Cake to grow. But again, when it has reached already almost $7 billion, it might be a time for a break. Okay, I'm not saying it won't go up, but I wouldn't also be putting a lot of my money in there right now. So next one is Pancake Bunny. Funny name, of course. Not listed on many exchanges. It's actually just listed on PancakeSwap and MXC, and that's why I do believe that it could potentially come onto Binance, and the listing might just give a very, very big boost for this token, because it's at 230 million. It has about 7 billion total value locked on it, and in my opinion, that's a very, very good opportunity if you're looking for something that hasn't gone parabolic yet, although it has grown like insanely. Like it's gone from, let's say, $2 in November, or however much it was, up to $400 or $500 right now. So that's an insane increase. It started from nothing and it's gone up so much, but I do believe it could go even higher, given the fact that it hasn't gone parabolic yet and it's not even listed on Binance. So if we look at this Pancake Bunny, it's just nice and steady. The trend is very, very clean. There's nothing to complain about this. Now it's also gone up a lot, but if we just look at those levels, they look very nice and clean, very healthy uptrend. A lot of retests. We had this nice sideways movement here, the reaccumulation in this zone, had this kind of little distribution up there, nice breakout. So right now I do believe it could have a very, very big spike if it gets listed on Binance, on the actual exchange, and not just on PancakeSwap or anything like it. So another one before I talk about Sparta is going to be Venus. And Venus is a very interesting one because it's one of those that's relatively large in market cap. It has also an insane number of total value locked on it as well. And it's one of those that is relatively healthy versus both Bitcoin and USD. So when I look at the USD chart, it looks like something ready to have a massive, massive breakout. Okay, it looks something ready to explode because it's forming this nice upward pattern. It might be seen as a cup and handle. You can look at it however you want, but overall it's definitely in a very strong uptrend and its adoption keeps growing. So this one has been listed on Binance for quite some time. It's listed on some other exchanges as well. So it's definitely larger than, let's say, Bunny. So potentially you could see more listings for this one as well. But it's one of the strongest projects right now. And I think it started from the Binance launch pool, and it's gotten pretty high very quickly as well. But when I look, let's say, at the BTC chart, it just tells me that the same picture as well as the USD chart, excuse me, because right here we are at a bit of a resistance. Maybe we do see a pullback right down here, because we have seen these pullbacks every time we had a very rapid increase. It did pull back, but when I look at this nice breakout right here, I do expect at some point that we will see, let's say, maybe this pullback and then much higher, because again, I don't really expect any coin to top in such a formation. So I do expect it to go down a little bit maybe and then higher. So at least compared to Cake and maybe even, let's say, some of the other stuff, I do expect it to go much higher. So then let's look at the Spartan Protocol, and then I would also say let's look at bakeryswap, which I want to leave a bit last before the trust token and the swipe, because guys, I don't really know whether on that one the, let's say, protocol is going to absorb a Binance, because they've said, at least Binance has said, that they're gonna issue their own NFT platform, and for that to happen, I don't know how bakeryswap is gonna do, given the fact that it's a NFT platform. So Sparta has been listed on Binance, but it hasn't had those extra pairs, let's say on BTC or USDT or BUSD. So when it gets those, I do believe that at that time it's going to have a fairly big upside, a fairly big explosion, and synthetic assets are coming back. So initially synthetics, injective, also mirror protocol hadn't done very well. So they pumped early on. They were some of the strongest early on, but then they did very, very badly. They underperformed massively, lots of projects. Okay, so I do believe that now it's their time again, and Spartan Protocol is one of those two. Now it just looks a little weird because when I see something like this, it puts me a little off because I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a correction and then higher. But I do believe it's also one of those that definitely has more upside. It's relatively cheap when you compare it to, let's say, other valuations in terms of, the market cap. Now it doesn't have a lot of total value locked. I don't know much about the project, but if synthetic projects do well, and this actually is a legit project, if you believe it's a legit project, then it could do fairly well as well. So when we look at the bakeryswap, it's one of the NFT projects that have been doing very well recently. I do plan to make a video about NFT tokens fairly soon, and it had a very, very massive pump. So it's definitely one of those that I wouldn't really want to touch right now. So if we look at bakery, I don't know if it's this one, bakery token, potentially it's that one. Yep. So guys, when I see something like this, I'm not interested anymore. It might be the best project, it might have a lot of potential, but once something goes parabolic, really parabolic, then I just lose interest because the risk just goes up substantially. And yes, NFTs might be hot and it might be something related to Binance. So if it is related to Binance, maybe it has more upside, but I would expect it to take a break here and then go higher. Okay, so when you see something like this, it's just good to just stay out because, again, maybe you might follow the momentum and you might capture some upside, but you're most likely going to get burned. Now, when you see the first initial candle like this and it's near this all-time high, then yes. But after the all-time high breaks, then that becomes a little bit tricky because, again, if you just look, let's say, at the Binance BNB chart, it did have a big increase and then it slowed down for a bit. So you might just lose on some opportunities and by putting your money in here. Now, again, I don't know how much it is going to be affected by, let's say, the NFT protocol on Binance. Maybe people are buying it because of that. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that it's just something I wouldn't touch right now. So another one is Trust Wallet. I don't have any idea why that has a token. It's probably pretty useless in terms of the token now. It has done very well over the last year and its chart looks very interesting with Bitcoin as well. And it could do well given that the ecosystem of Binance is doing well and it is part of the ecosystem. Many people would start using it. I don't know why the price would retain its value or why would it increase in value, but I do believe this could have a fairly explosive move given its structure right here. So that was the listing on Binance. It had a nice pullback into this area right here. I like how it has tested this all-time high a few times. So the more, let's say, this area is getting retested, maybe we'll see something like this. And then something like this. Again, it's not an expensive one. If I just look at the market cap, about 200 million. But again, the question is, why is there a token? And the same question that I do ask myself is, why is there a token for Swipe? Because I do know that Swipe got bought by Binance. That's why they have their own card. So I don't really understand why there is a Swipe card as well. Maybe there is a certain agreement between the two parties. Maybe, I don't know. But I do believe that it would have been better to, let's say, even for Trust Wallet or for BNB or, for TWT, excuse me, and for SXP, and for some of the other coins to just merge with Binance and potentially just get a little bit of the stake, so the tokens to be replaced with BNB. Because if a token is bought by Binance, if the team behind it, if the company behind it gets bought by Binance, then there should be a bit of a peg and a switch between the two. Okay, because there is no really a reason to have so many different tokens when they actually do nothing, and that token to be a part of the Binance ecosystem, or actually a part of the Binance as a company. Because remember, Binance is a company no matter what CZ says. So that's it from me, guys. I did try and cover as many projects as I could, many market makers, lending protocols, yield farming protocols. When it comes to BSC, I've outlined the risks because I always want people to understand the risk. Now they all have a lot of potential. They can go much, much higher, especially BNB. I do believe it has unlimited potential given how high it can go. But again, remember, there are risks. There are risks with Ethereum. I made a video comparing Ethereum to Bitcoin. A lot of bullish stuff for Ethereum, but I also outlined some of the risks there, which I think everyone should be aware of. And all I've got to say is just be very careful when you buy into pumps, because some of this stuff, some of these protocols, some of these tokens have gone up quite a bit. So sometimes it might be good to wait for a correction if you're not sure. Now, if you're not sure what the token does and you just see it go up like TWT or Swipe, maybe you want to stay out and wait for a bit. Because again, for these two, I do see more upside. I don't even care about showing you guys the SXP BTC chart. It's just a typical chart of those coins that haven't done well. And I just feel like the coins that have those type of charts will not do well in general. So you can just have a look on your own and compare that with something else. Okay. So guys, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below what you like, what you don't like, maybe something big, a new Binance project. Let's say you have some news about Bakery token, maybe you have news about, let's say, Spartan Protocol, some stuff that I don't know. Just let me know if you would like me to update my views. Maybe you want me to make a video on certain coins, some hot PancakeSwap coins that you think that are very interesting right now. I'll be very happy to do some TA on them and check them out and potentially make a video about it. So of course, shield me your stuff. I have no issue with whatever you say in the comments, positive, negative, or whatever you want to say. But of course, again, guys, show us your love, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.